Did you know that some animals have unusual ways of defending themselves? Imagine a fish that defends itself by shooting slime, or a lizard that shoots blood out of its eyes. These unusual defense strategies are not just curiosities of nature, they are the result of millions of years of evolution and adaptation to certain threats. 1. Hagfish belong to the round-billed inhabitants of the deep sea, which appeared about 350 million years ago. Relatives of eels, living in the tropical waters of the world's oceans. Another name for hagfish is witchfish, and you will soon understand why they are considered some of the most disgusting marine animals. This is due to the massive amounts of thick mucus that oozes from their body pores. Myxins use two main methods of defense: to get rid of pursuit or to catch fish to devour. They quickly wrap their body around the other creature and tie themselves into a knot. If the victim is still alive after choking so hard, hagfish inject large amounts of mucus into it, causing the poor creature to no longer be able to breathe. But that's not all. Hagfish have another unique feature. Scientists were shocked to learn that hagfish can even survive a shark bite. The reason for this is their physiology. They are essentially a half-empty sac with a small amount of blood and a few organs. When a shark tries to bite a hagfish, its skin literally wraps around the shark's tooth. This allows the hagfish's organs to move elsewhere. Plus, the sticky mucus securely covers any scratch or wound. 2. The Texas horned lizard is a resident of the deserts and semi-deserts of the southwestern United States and Mexico. Least of all someone's dinner. There's the spikes, the camouflage coloring, and the fast running that zigzags to put an enemy in a stalemate. Sometimes these lizards even swell up to appear bigger and more imposing. In appearance, it resembles a small dinosaur. But the coolest part is the ability to shoot its own blood. If a horned lizard finds itself in a desperate situation, it can shoot blood out of the corners of its eyes at a distance of up to 5 meters. Needless to say, the sharp discharge is very shocking to predators. This action happens by blocking the outflow of blood from the head, which increases blood pressure and causes the tiny blood vessels around the eyelids to rupture. To utilize his superpower, the horned lizard has to do a little damage to himself. Reminiscent of Wolverine, who cut his skin every time he released his claws. The whole spectacle confuses the predator, and the taste of the lizard's blood is often unpleasant. It can even be poisonous, especially if it falls into the jaws of members of the dog family. 3. The watery expanses of Central Africa hide not only the beauty of nature, but also extraordinary inhabitants, among which stands out the hairy frog. Despite its name, the hairs on the frog's body are actually flaps of skin that increase surface area for more efficient breathing in the water. But the hairy frog's real secret lies in its ability to defend itself. When the frog feels threatened, it breaks the phalangeal bones and brings them out through the skin, thus forming small claws. These sharp bony spikes on its legs it uses as weapons against predators. 4. Exploding ants are social insects. It is also not surprising that nothing is random in the colonies. Everything is very precisely organized. Even the smallest ant has its specific task. In case of danger, all ants rush to save the ant queen or moth. These are the eggs. Many ants fight to the death to prevent the enemy from harming her or the entire colony. But Camponotus cylindricus ants living in Malaysia decided to go further and turned into real kamikazes. When an enemy approaches, they tightly encompass it with their paws and explode, showering the enemy with a large amount of bright yellow poisonous liquid. This liquid can either kill the attacker or glue his paws together, and sometimes even glue his eyes shut, depending on where it hits. 5. And since we've started talking about all sorts of crawling creatures, let's think of the Nemertines. These creatures look like distant earthly relatives of vermicelli. When pressed, they spit out something that looks like white slime, which immediately takes on a life of its own. Seriously, look at it, it moves and moves. Actually, it's not just slime. It's one of the Nemertines' internal organs, which is used for hunting. Normally, Nemertines twist their proboscis to grab prey, and the slime covering it paralyzes the victim. The only thing left to do is to pull it towards them and eat it. But sometimes Nemertines use the same principle to defend themselves against predators, mostly because some species just don't know how to do anything else. 6. The Bombardier beetle is an amazing insect that proves that size doesn't always determine power. But this one stands out in particular. Despite its modest size, this beetle is able to effectively defend itself against predators with the secret weapon that defines its name. The Bombardier beetle bombards its enemies with a toxic chemical substance that is a mixture of hydroquinone and hydrogen peroxide. These components are concentrated in 2 glands under its abdomen. This poisonous liquid, moreover, heats up to 100 degrees at the moment of firing. In addition, the shot is accompanied by a loud and frightening sound. So, is it still possible to worry about the safety of this bug? 7. Now let's go back underwater and take a look at this crab, or more specifically, its claws. These boxing gloves that he always carries around with him prepare him for battle. A tiny creature called Libya holds actinia in its claws. This crab simply picks up special corals and starts waving them around. This symbiotic relationship even has a name: mutualism. This form of cohabitation between different organisms is equally beneficial to both parties. Libya uses only 3 species of actinia, which, apparently, were selected in the process of evolution. When hunting, the crab freezes, blending in with the surrounding background. When the prey swims by, he grabs it with his unusual claws, and each of the animals begins to eat. Without actinia, the boxer would be doomed to starvation. Its claws are too delicate for food extraction. Actinia help the crab to defend itself from enemies. All types of actinia on the claws of the boxer are poisonous. 8. This large newt lives in Spain and Portugal, preferring shallow ponds and wells. To protect itself from predators, it uses a poisonous secretion that it emits through its skin. In addition to this, it can pierce its ribs through the skin in a matter of seconds, turning them into sharp spines, which is the reason why it is also called Iberian ribbed newt. Thus, eating it becomes a difficult and unpleasant task. Once the danger is over, it returns its ribs to their original position. 9. While skin loss can be dangerous and painful for humans or other animals, for geckos it is simply a way of self-defense. Skin shedding not only saves the gecko from an immediate threat, but it can also distract or frighten a predator, giving the gecko an added advantage. Here's what a gecko looks like before an encounter with a predator, and here's what it looks like afterward. It really isn't a pretty sight. The gecko's incredible ability to evade attackers has been known for decades, but it has been unclear exactly how it does it. 10. One of the most bizarre and probably creepy ways of self-defense is used by Japanese bees. The main enemies of these insects are hornets, which attack and ravage the hive. A group of 30 hornets can destroy a hive of 30,000 bees in about 3 hours. However, the bees have learned to fight back. When the first hornet approaches the hive, the worker bees attract it and leave the passage open, allowing the hornet to get in. But once the hornet is inside the hive, the bees instantly surround the enemy, forming a ball of about 500 individuals. It is simply impossible to get out of this trap. The bees that make up this ball start flapping their wings intensively, creating heat. Thus, the temperature around the hornet rises to 47 degrees Celsius. And since the maximum temperature that can withstand the hornet is from 44 to 46 degrees, this predator dies, literally baked inside the crowd of bees. The latter, on the other hand, can withstand temperatures up to 50 degrees and therefore remain unharmed, and probably very pleased with themselves. What would you be like if nature endowed you with a unique defense mechanism?